What if the moment everything fell apart was actually the moment everything began? What if the wall you hit, the breakdown, the week you couldn't get off the couch, the day your body finally said no, wasn't failure? What if it was your body doing the most intelligent thing it has ever done? What if collapse, was never the end of the story? What if it was the beginning of the one you were always meant to live? Here's what most women think when they collapse. Something's wrong with me. I'm falling apart. I shouldn't be able to handle this. I don't have time for this. I need to push through. And so they do. They push. They white knuckle their way through the exhaustion. They add more coffee and more willpower and more forcing. Until the body, which has been whispering for months, stops whispering and starts screaming. Collapse is not weakness. Collapse is a communication. Your body has been sending signals for a long time. Tension, fatigue, numbness, disconnection, anxiety that won't settle, sleep that doesn't restore, accomplishments that feel like nothing. And when we don't listen to the whispers, life has a way of making us listen to something louder. A health crisis, a relationship breaking, a career falling apart, or sometimes something as simple as a broken water heater that tips a nervous system already at its limit into complete overwhelm. I want to talk about something today that most people don't know. There are 7 types of rest. Most of us think rest means sleep, but sleep is just one kind. We have physical rest for your body. There's mental rest from thinking and planning. We need emotional rest from managing other people's feelings. Social rest comes from performing and people-pleasing. Sensory, we need to rest from screens, noise, and stimulation. How about creative rest from generating and producing? And then, of course, there's spiritual. We need to rest from striving and doing and proving. Most high-achieving women are depleted in all 7 simultaneously, and they think more sleep will fix it. It won't. Because the exhaustion isn't in your body. It's in your nervous system. It's in your soul. It's in the little girl inside who has been running the show for decades and is finally, desperately ready to rest. Which of these 7 types of rest are you most depleted in right now? I want to share a little bit about how I discovered all of this. And it is from the water heater breaking in May. And I thought I was doing okay. I was just coming off the detox. Sal's going to be going to Texas for a month. And that tipped me so far into overwhelm, I couldn't even believe it. Even Sal was in overwhelm, primarily because we deal with water losses in our basement all the time. I mean, this is like the 3rd one now since I've been in here, so I'm almost averaging 1 a year. And it was just too much. I mean, we were both coming off this 90-day detox. Our bodies are doing things that we're not used to it doing. We're he's leaving. We're facing the water loss. He's worried. I'm worried. And it just felt like everything was impossible. And God knows that's how life always works. When we think we can't take on anymore, we do. So I know I was a little cranky person with him. I was really weighing a lot because I just was so overwhelmed and I didn't want to be left alone. And then I realized he planned this for whatever reason. He planned to go for a month, and I just knew it was the wrong decision. And I finally surrendered because I think there was a reason why this had to be. I don't have an issue being alone. I truly don't. But for some reason, where I was at, it just didn't resonate very well. So what ended up happening is I was hitting a wall every single day in May after he left. I was sleeping well, I was feeling good in the morning, and then I watched my capacity drain throughout the month. And all I could do was sit and be. I still did the shows, I still moved forward in little baby steps, but I was still at a capacity of 0. I was learning something new and I couldn't take it on. It was the strangest thing, and I didn't beat up myself for it. I did not get mad at myself. I just allowed it to happen. And then the strangest childlike thoughts started to surface. And it's this little girl's voice showing up when something triggered me. It was so immature and it wasn't making sense to this adult version of myself. And I just sat there and observed it thinking, oh, that's interesting. And then I just let it go. I thought if people knew what was going on inside my head, they would put me in a mental institution because it was such crazy thought patterns going on. And I talked to people who normally do detoxes, and they said, this is all part of the detox, Kat. This is all the stuff that's coming out. You may be finished taking the pills and all the things that you're doing, but that doesn't mean your body's done. You got 2 years of this change that I made in 90 days. That's going to take 2 years because that's a cellular restructuring. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll deal with it. But what got me the most was realizing that this little girl, regardless of how much I had healed, was still running the show. And that surprised me the most because I did not know that until I watched the thought forms coming up. And what she needed most was to be heard. Because I never listened to her either. I got to a point where I didn't listen to anybody because I figured everybody was lying to me, including her. I just stuffed her and buried her because I couldn't deal with her. And so that was the moment when I allowed her voice, her opinion, and I mean really voice it without judgment. And that was the moment that peace started coming in. She didn't need to be fixed, and all she needed was to be heard. And that 90-day detox ending at the same time, that was layers of releasing happening simultaneously. And it really surprised me because there was so much going on at that point. And what was interesting is in that time frame, and this is getting closer to when Sal's getting ready to come home. I was probably it might have been about a week before he came home. I started to feel this incredible sense of peace in my body. I mean, calm peace. Because we know how our bodies operate. We know how we feel on the inside, and this was not there. That agitation, that angst, that pent-up energy, or whatever I called it, it was gone. And I'm like, who am I? And I'm just kind of like, God, who is this girl? And I'm thinking, I really like this. This feels really good. And I just observed this and just thought, wow, whatever I'm doing, I am causing that peace because I'm letting the little girl voice her opinion. I'm not judging her. I'm not judging myself. I'm just allowing to be in this space that I was in. And it's not easy. This was not easy, people. This was so not easy to do. And I just did it anyways. I just did what I needed to do. And yes, there was still some head trash going on about I should be doing this and this and this, but I didn't beat myself up for it. I just allowed it to do because I knew that I couldn't do any more. All I could do was what I did, and that was virtually a whole lot of nothing. And when I learned about the 7 types of rest at that point, that's when I realized I was all 7 of them simultaneously. I couldn't do anything more creatively. It was like I felt so dried up on so many levels. I mean, I'm not one to sit on my phone all day, but I am on my computer creating content and trying to find ways to make money. And building things and trying to get my business moving in a different direction. So I give you all of that. I do that. But it's also a lot of mental fatigue when you're doing that, trying to come up and you're learning, and I'm learning from people and I'm growing and I'm doing all the stuff that I need to do. And then there's this spiritual thing going on and I'm like, God, I feel like they're not even talking to me. And it's like, but I don't even know if I could handle them talking to me. I mean, this is how I was like talking to myself. Excuse me, I don't know what's going on with my throat. Probably because I'm talking about stuff that I don't talk about and I'm choking on my words. And that's what happens too. So anyways, the whole point is I was starting to wake up completely different. And it wasn't dramatic. And it was just this little quiet knowing that something had shifted. I could hear deeper. My nervous system felt like it was leveling out. And I knew without anyone telling me that I was moving forward again. And that's what made all of this so important to me, was giving myself that permission. And Sal and I talked every day, and he was losing his mind when he was in Texas. And I said, I told you that a month was too long, and it was, and he was going crazy. There was nothing for him to do. But I think we both needed to be away and just deal with what we had to deal with. He has aging parents, and he's dealing with aging parents and knowing that he doesn't know how much time he has left with them. I mean, his dad 2 years ago looked like I thought he wasn't going to live out throughout the year. And now he's rallied back and he's put on weight and he's getting around, and now it's his mom's turn. And, can't wait for those moments. But the whole point is that he got to learn a lot more about his past, because he had uncles telling him about his dad that his dad never shared, because, that's the generation that never shared anything. It was the biggest secret, and everything goes to the grave with them. So he got to learn a lot more about his father. He got to understand a little bit more about why he does what he does, what he learned from his father, that kind of thing. And I got to allow myself to just start healing at a level. And I realized also during the month of May that there was grief coming up, because my father had died a year before. And it wasn't that I was grieving his death, but it was still grief, because there was that part of me, of that little girl who wanted to be loved and wasn't. And I wanted to be heard, and I wasn't. And I wanted to be recognized for just being who I was, and I wasn't. And so there was a lot of that grief going on. Like, I could finally let go of all of that, because we have to, it's not about anybody else. This is all about my healing. And I came down on this planet to heal as much as I could possibly heal, and to deal with the wounds that I had taken on. And there are plenty. There are so many. And I know who I am because of it. And the one thing that I feel like that's happening as the nervous system is healing, as I'm understanding the language of the body, and believe me, it's a very complicated language. It talks to us all the time. It's a foreign language is what I've discovered in May, is when I realized I'm trying to understand the language of the body. But when I said there was a body, mind, spirit connection, that's what it feels like, because the body comes with us. It's our physical manifestation, and the body comes with it. So if we want to ignore the body, treat the body like crap, guess what? It's going to retaliate, and it does retaliate. So why don't we start working in harmony, start doing better? I'm not saying give up all the bad stuff. I'm not saying that, because we all do it, and I do it too, and I don't have a problem with it. It's just about my attitude. It's always about moderation. So let's start recognizing the body and being grateful for the body that we have, because you know what? You created it. It's your creation. I used to get mad at my body when I was sick, and I finally decided one time, is like, you know what? I'll give you 24 hours. That's all I'm giving you. And you know what? It allowed that, because that's what I gave it. Now I give it a little more time. But see, thank God I'm not one of those sickly people. Thank God, thank God, thank God. I'd go crazy. But when it doesn't, but when there's things going on, I'm on high alert. I'm paying attention to see if it's just a moving thing or if there's something seriously going on. And I pay attention to my body, because you know what? I may be aging, but I'm not dying and I'm not slowing down. I'm still moving forward. And until the day I take my last breath, I'm going to keep moving forward. I didn't die 30 years ago, and I'm waiting to be buried. I am still living my life. And for me to live the life that I want, that means I have to take care of my body, and I want to take care of my body because I've been taking care of it my whole life. It's been good to me, and I want to be good to it. So it's about changing your perspective of what you have about your body. It's not about beating yourself up when you collapse, because if you're collapsing, there's a reason. And instead of being angry at yourself or thinking you're a failure or you're not a team player or you're a slacker or whatever comes up, and believe me, I have been told all those things, and I've even said them to myself. I'm not that. I need to take care of me. Self-care is critical, especially in today's day and age. So I just want to leave that with you, is just be nice to yourself. Just love yourself. You chose your body for whatever reason, whatever your ailments are, whatever it is, you chose it, and be grateful for it and take care of it, because this is what houses the essence of you, is this body. It's an earth suit. That's all it is. So why not take care of it? So right now, I'd like you to take out a piece of paper, and I want you to write down all 7 types of rest. Physical, mental, emotional, social, sensory, creative, and spiritual. Now rate yourself on each one. 0 means completely depleted, and 10 means fully restored. Be honest. Not how you wish you were, how you actually are. Look at your lowest scores. Those numbers are not failure. They are messages. They are your body telling you exactly where it needs your attention. Pick the lowest one, just one, and ask yourself, what would one small act of this kind of rest look like today? Not a week at a spa, not a complete life overhaul, just one small thing. Today, small, consistent, and trusted. That is how the nervous system heals. Not all at once, one safe moment at a time. Find a comfortable position. Your feet flat on the floor. Close your eyes and take a slow breath in and exhale. I want you to think about everything you've carried this month. The strength, the achieving, the hiding, and the running. And I want you to acknowledge yourself for all of it. Not with judgment, with compassion. You did what you had to do. You survived what you had to survive. You held what you had to hold. And now, right here, right now, you are allowed to put it down. Place your hand on your heart and say, "My collapse was not failure. It was my body asking for what it needed. I am learning to listen. I am learning to rest. I am learning to trust." The little girl inside me is heard. She is safe. She is loved. And so am I. Take one more long breath in and exhale all the way out. Stay here as long as you need. And open your eyes when you're ready. This month, we walked through the hidden breaking point of the strong woman. We looked at why your body can't shut off, why strength costs more than anyone tells you, why asking for help feels like betrayal, why success can become a prison, and why collapse, when it finally comes, is not the end. It is the most honest moment of your life. The moment your body finally tells the truth that your mind has been managing for years. And if you listen, really listen, what you will find underneath the collapse is not emptiness. It is peace. A peace you have never felt before. A quiet knowing. A nervous system finally leveling out. A little girl finally heard. That peace is available to you. I promise you, it is available. Because I found it in May, on an ordinary day, with a broken water heater and a partner about to leave, and a body that finally said, enough. I listened, and it changed everything. Next week, we begin a brand new series, Why Everything Feels Empty. Because once the collapse settles, a new question emerges. If I'm not defined by my strength, then who am I? That is where August takes us, and I cannot wait. Share this series with every strong woman you know. And if you are ready, come inside the I Am the Light sanctuary. I am offering a 7-day free trial. Look around, listen to the meditations, Check out the Light Activation Guide. And if you find value, join. No pressure, just an invitation. The link will be in the show notes. I'm Kathleen Flanagan, and you don't have to carry this alone.